All right, so let's get right into it. We're about to unpack this really powerful, maybe even a little dangerous idea from Silicon Valley. And the wild part is, it might just be the key to succeeding in, well, pretty much everything. Business, love, maybe even society as a whole. It all kicks off with one single statement that'll make you stop and think. Competition is for losers. You hear that and you immediately think, okay, easy for you to say, right? It's from Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal. And yeah, it sounds like the ultimate boast from a guy who's already won. But the more you dig into it, you realize it's not about being arrogant, it's a playbook. So what if this isn't just some clever line about how to build a tech company? What if this whole idea that the real way to win is to just stop competing? What if that applies to everything else? That's the big question we're going to dig into. To really get it, we have to go right to the source, which is Thiel's book 0 to 1. And his whole argument is that we've been taught to think about business completely backward. So Thiel basically lays out two ways of looking at the world. On the one hand, you've got what we're all told is the ideal, perfect competition. Just think about airlines. They're all basically selling the same thing, a seat on a plane. And they compete so brutally on price that it's just a race to the bottom where nobody makes any real long-term money. But then, over on the right, you've got what Thiel says is the actual goal, monopoly. And he doesn't mean the evil mustache-twirling kind. He means a company that is so unique, it just doesn't have any real competition. Think about Google. They didn't make a slightly better search engine. They created something so different and so much better that they made their own market.
And this quote just nails it. He flips that famous line from Tolstoy on its head. In Thiel's world, all the failed companies look the same. They're just stuck in that bloody fight, clawing for the same scraps. But the happy, successful companies, they're all different. Each one has found some unique secret, some unique problem to solve, and that's their superpower.
So here's the absolute key takeaway. For Thiel, a monopoly isn't about crushing everyone else. It's about being so good and so unique that you literally become a category of one. The point isn't to beat the other guy. The point is to make the other guy irrelevant. Okay, so that's the business theory. But here's where it gets really interesting. Can you take this anti-competition mindset and apply it to something way more personal, like our relationships? I mean, think about it. We use this competitive language all the time without even noticing. We talk about the dating market, being in or out of someone's league, or winning someone's heart. But when you frame it that way, you can accidentally turn love into this zero-sum game, and that just creates friction and conflict. So, is there a better way? Let's look at a real-world case. The actress Anne Hathaway noticed this recurring competition inside her own marriage. It was the insane demands of her career versus the actual needs of her relationship. The long times they spent apart were causing these dumb fights, not because they didn't care about each other, but because the structure of their lives was basically pitting them against one another. So what did? They just stopped playing the game. Instead of fighting over time and attention, they invented their own system, a simple, unique rule. They are never, ever apart for more than 2 weeks, period. They solved a unique problem with a unique solution. They essentially created a monopoly for how their marriage operates, totally free from all those outside pressures that were causing the fights. Okay, so creating your own rules within the game is one thing. But what if you could create your own category altogether? What if you just refused to play the game of traditional romance at all? Let me introduce you to Lou Andrea Salome. She was this brilliant writer and psychoanalyst back at the turn of the 20th century. And she had some of the greatest minds of the time. We're talking Nietzsche, Freud, completely captivated by her. But she just kept rejecting the competitive roles that society had for women back then, being either a wife or a mistress. See, Salome didn't compete for a husband. No way. Instead, she created her own brand new category of relationship, an intellectual and emotional fellowship, completely on her own terms. By writing and earning her own money, she became financially independent, which is what made her personal monopoly possible. She didn't just win, she completely escaped the game by inventing a new one. Now let's zoom out. We've seen how this idea can scale from the personal to the societal. Think about our justice system for a second. At its very core, it's one of the most competitive arenas we have. So on the one side, you've got our traditional system. It's a battle, right? Prosecution versus defense. The whole point is to win, to prove guilt, and to hand out punishment. But there's this other model that tries to escape that whole win-lose trap. It's called restorative justice, and its goal isn't victory, it's healing. The big idea here is to stop competing over who's to blame and instead start working together on a solution. So instead of a big courtroom battle, you bring everybody who is affected. The victim, the offender, people from the community, you bring them all together to figure out, okay, how do we actually repair the damage that was done? And this can lead to some really creative, totally non-competitive solutions. Instead of just locking someone up, the community might create its own accountability system. There's this great example from some of the research where, after a drunk driving incident, the offender's friends might all agree that, all right, from now on, Uncle Harry takes the car keys on Friday and Saturday nights. See? It's not about winning a case. It's about creating a unique solution for a specific problem. That's the anti-competition playbook, right there in action. So we've seen the same pattern pop up in business, in relationships, and even in our justice system. It really seems like the biggest wins don't come from winning the fight, but from completely redefining what the fight is about. Let's just quickly run through how all these examples fit the pattern. First up, Peter Thiel. He didn't try to be a slightly better lawyer or banker climbing that super crowded ladder. Nope. He sidestepped the competition completely by creating a whole new category with PayPal. Then you have Anne Hathaway and her husband. They didn't let their careers compete with each other. They escaped that constant conflict by writing their own, totally unique rulebook for their relationship. And Lou Andrea Salome. She just refused to compete in that rigid 19th century marriage market. She escaped it by inventing a totally new way to live and connect with people, built around this idea of fellowship. And finally, restorative justice. It doesn't even try to win the courtroom game of prosecution versus defense. It escapes that game by building a whole new system that's all about repair and working together. So you see, this isn't just a bunch of cool stories. It's a strategy you can actually use. It's the anti-competition playbook. First, you have to spot a zero-sum game you're stuck in. Then you gotta ask yourself, honestly, is the prize even worth the fight? And finally, this is the magic step. You invent something new, a unique solution, a new rule, maybe a whole new category. You stop playing by their rules and you start making your own. Which, of course, brings us to the final and most important question, the one that turns this whole thing back on you. In your job, in your relationships, in your life, where are you stuck in some soul-crushing competition, fighting for a prize that might not even matter? And what incredible thing could you create if you just decided to stop?